catch a fella by his shoulder and they holler, let him go.
'98 was a magical ride for the Minnesota Vikings, a year in which they rejoined the NFL's elite and stunned the football world with one of the great seasons of all time. The bedrock of their success was the highest-scoring offense in NFL history, a unit that featured a bright young star, a wise old veteran, and the comeback story of the decade.
Cunningham to throw, looking, backs and fires. What a catch by Carter! Cunningham, fade route, touchdown, Jake Reed. Deep downfield, Moss, leaping catch for Randy Moss.
Hey, we're going deep.
Even when the opposition knew what was coming, they still couldn't stop this offense.
Flea flicker, toss back to Cunningham. Fires deep, got Moss, 10, 5, touchdown, Vikings!
Eventually, the Vikings reached a rarefied level of competition reserved only for the truly great.
We in competition against ourselves. When we realize that, that's when we unstoppable.
Each week, a different player rose to the occasion.
Shakes a tackle, goes to his right, delays, goes again, powers in. Touchdown.
This was a team in every sense of the word.
It is caught, touchdown, Vikings in a crowd.
As the season wore on, each success the Vikings encountered only made them work harder. Theirs was a state of constant urgency.
This is clearly a case, man. We got to march all night and then fight all day.
I'm here. I'm ready to rock.
Scratching and fighting, the Vikings became only the third team in league history to go 15-1. The best record in the NFL in 1998.
Picked off, Hitchcock, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Vikings!
You're looking at something very, very magical this year.
That something was about more than just wins. As the Metrodome thundered to life each Sunday, there was a sense that the Vikings had regained their pride as a franchise. That feeling emanated directly from the top, in the person of new owner Red McCombs.
Purple pride, purple pride, purple pride.
In 1998, the Vikings' championship dreams died just one step away from the Super Bowl.
Here goes the field goal try by Morton Anderson. The kick wide. No, it's good. The Falcons have stolen the thunder from the Vikings. They win it in overtime, 30-27. It's like getting punched in the gut for Viking fans, not only in the stadium, but all over the United States.
The Vikings' loss in the NFC Championship game was a devastating end to a season of true accomplishment. A season that had begun with great enthusiasm back in September.
Let's go, it's on! It's on week 1, baby! Come on, perfection! Yes! Perfection today! Yes! Push yourself! Yes! Nothing but the best! 1, 2, 3, the best!
In their season opener, the Vikings received an eye-opening performance from their #1 draft pick.
Bomb downfield to Moss. Down there, juggles it. Ah, touchdown! He juggled it, and then he dove into the crowd.
In a stunning debut, rookie Randy Moss scored twice.
Right to Randy! Right to Randy! Back goes Johnson, rolling right. Johnson throws deep. Oh, touchdown! Randy Moss!
I think we're seeing a real coming out party here in this first game.
Get it going to the corner, man coverage. We love it.
All right, let's punch it down here and score again.
The Vikings also went to their other weapon.
Throws for the end zone. It is caught. Touchdown, Vikings. Cris Carter.
It was clear from the beginning that this was an offense with plenty of firepower.
We took a very positive first step. Now we've got to build on it. And there are a lot of things that we can do better, but it was clear that we are a quicker team than we were last year, a more explosive team than we were last year, and I think we got that little bit extra drive.
In week 2 in St. Louis, Robert Smith showed that extra drive and an extra gear as he went 74 yards on the longest run of the season. But the major story of the game occurred when quarterback Brad Johnson was injured, opening the way for Randall Cunningham to see his first action of the year. He quickly rekindled an old combo with Cris Carter.
It is caught. Touchdown, Vikings.
But the Rams would have one last chance.
Here they come, final play of the game. Shotgun snap, just about to come. There it is, juggled by Banks, wants to throw it, now will run it. He's in the open, they dive for him, and they have got him. Short of the goal line, I think they stopped him at the 1-yard line.
I think the clock ran out.
Oh, man.
That wasn't right, Carter. You can't be hitting me like that. Carter, that's not fair.
Defensive end John Randall introduced himself to the Lions in week 3, in particular the great Barry Sanders.
Bang! 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 What up, dog? Bang! Hey! I can't get no love! Get no love back? Barry, you can't talk to me, dog?
Sanders remained silent, so Randall found a new friend.
Hey, Charlie!
Rookie quarterback Charlie Batch.
Hey, Charlie! Traitor!
We are 3-0 right now, going into play a team in Chicago who is our big rival. We got to make sure that we play better across the board.
80, what you gonna do today?
I got my A game.
You got your A game?
Hey, game!
He got his A game.
In week 4, Cris Carter brought his A game to Soldier Field.
First down!
And the confidence that has made him one of the most feared receivers in the game.
Shut up, bro. Oh, man. Oh, man. Well, you better hope you can play as long as me. Hey, when you get on your knees and say your prayers tonight, pray.
See him every day, baby.
Pray you can play as long as me. Pray. I can kill these guys. You know?
Carter did just that.
Cunningham back to throw, pump fake, now lets it go. Throws it deep to Cris Carter. It is caught! Touchdown, Vikings! Cris Carter!
You got a little speed. I had to go get that one, yeah.
Carter was equally valuable on the sidelines.
It's all about making plays, and it all starts in practice. That's what I try to tell you all the time, man. That's why it's so important to catch every ball, because for the confidence standpoint, you got to realize that, man.
Me and you, boss, in and out.
Cunningham fake to Robert Smith, back to throw. Coxon fires it deep downfield. Moss! Touchdown, Vikings! Leaping catch for Randy Moss.
Randall Cunningham threw it about as far as he could. Then there was 2 defenders and 1 wide receiver. Problem is the wide receiver's Randy Moss, and he just out-jumped 2 Bears. The coverage was perfect.
Hey, big fella, hey. Way not to push him off, too. Way not to push him off. Yeah. Because that guy is right back there. And way to elevate.
A W is a W, unless you're a perfectionist like Cris Carter.
You know, to me, it's not about beating the Bears. It's not about beating St. Louis. It's about when we play the big dogs, are we going to have everything tight?
On a stormy Monday night in October, the Vikings entered storied Lambeau Field, looking to snap Green Bay's 29-game home unbeaten streak.
Cunningham back to throw. Coxon drives it deep to Reed. Caught at the 20, at the 15, Reed
In front of a national TV audience, Minnesota thrashed the defending two-time NFC champions and made it clear to all that they were the team to beat in the division. The Packer game was also most of America's first glimpse of Randy Moss. And what a sight they saw. Moss saved his best for the big time with 190 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns.
Downfield wants Moss. It is caught. Touchdown!
The Vikings' first win in Green Bay since 1992 left them alone atop the division.
All right, let's rock and roll here. Here we go.
From there, the Purple Gang rock and rolled over the Redskins in Week 7. A week later, they ran away from the Lions to push their record to 7-0.
Robert Smith trying to get loose, maybe this time. Sideline 30, 25, 20. Look out! Here he goes! Pull it away!
Then in Week 9, something unusual happened. The Vikings actually lost a game. They would not lose again in the 1998 season. Back in the Metrodome, a new governor was celebrating his recent victory, but the Vikings were still thinking of their loss to the Bucs.
Got off track last week, time to get back on this week. One thing we didn't do last week, guys, we didn't play 60 minutes. We got to do that today. We got to take control, dominate on 3. 1, 2, 3, dominate!
It was all purple early on.
Chris is open to the corner. Chris is open.
Johnson rolling right. Looks, backs and throws to Carter. Touchdown, Vikings! In the corner of the end zone!
Hungry, stay aggressive.
Robert Smith put the Vikings out in front on a 61-yard run, thanks to some stellar blocking by Cris Carter.
Outside, 15 to 45, at the 40 to 35, has a blocker, 30, 25, 20.
Great blocking downfield by Cris Carter.
Touchdown, Vikings!
But the Saints would come back to tie the game.
All right, here we go. Now let's put him away. Let's put him away.
On their final drive, the Vikings pull out all the stops.
All our good stuff now, all our good stuff.
Tie game at 24. Johnson to throw, sets, shovels in, caught by Hort. The feed to the 10, to the 5. First down.
Great play by Brad Johnson. I think he threw that ball left-handed.
Yeah, left-handed shovel to Hort.
That'll be on the highlight film.
The handoff to Hort. He's close. Touchdown.
In the locker room, no one was happier than Coach Green, whose thoughts were on his newborn son.
Zachary Dennis William Green born on Friday. Great weekend getting preparation. Out on the field, beat the Saints. And I get to pick him up at 5:30. So, all right, everybody's coming home. So, great job.
Big dogs are in the house!
In Week 11, the Vikings encountered unexpected trouble with the Cincinnati Bengals. That is until Dwayne Rudd returned a fumble 63 yards. Rudd's return inspired the offense to put the game away.
Let's get it cranked up, man. Yeah. We should be in the end zone by now. Let's crank it up.
Randy Moss took matters into his own hands.
Wants it deep. Got Moss down there. There's the bomb. Oh! Touchdown, Vikings! Quality leading beautifully.
But Coach Green's thoughts were already on the following week.
The Packer game is the next one for us. And it's going to be important for us to really play our game, okay? So let's get caught up in the hype. You know, we're going to have a great crowd. Everybody's all excited about it, okay? That's another just short-term goal in the march that we're taking. Just another short-term goal, all right? They said they were looking forward to play us. Now they got us.
It was the showdown that everyone had been waiting for.
Intercepted Vikings down the sideline. This one's going for 6.
But Green Bay would have been better off not even showing up.
Touchdown, Jimmy Hitchcock.
Hitchcock's return sparked the Vikings, who jumped to an early lead and never looked back.
Let's put the nail in it.
Once again, Randy Moss did the honors.
Cox and throws it deep. Got Moss down there. Touchdown, Vikings! The bomb!
At 10-1, the Vikings had a firm hold on the division, but next faced a Thanksgiving test in Dallas.
On the road again, down in hostile territory in Texas. Now, we do have our own Texas Jim down there at Red McCombs. Yeah. So he will protect our back, believe me, he will protect our back, and then we take care of the rest of it.
We're the only show in town. Let's go.
In front of all of America, the Vikings took apart America's team, piece by piece.
Rose, touchdown, Vikings! Randy Moss!
What we playing today, you ain't got to worry about us. Come on, don't you worry about us.
Cris Carter did his part.
Cunningham fires downfield. Caught at the 30, at the 20, at the 15, 10-5. Carter. Carter, touchdown, Vikings!
Now it's going to get fun because they got to pressure. So there's going to be some flash lightning calls in the huddle. They got to pressure now, so we ain't done.
Dallas held Randy Moss to just 3 catches. Unfortunately, all 3 were touchdowns of over 50 yards, the last of which showcased his blazing speed.
Cunningham, short drop, fires to the sideline, caught by Moss, breaks a tackle, 50, 45, 40, 35, 30. Hurried it out, 20. Touchdown, Vikings!
That was pure speed.
Leroy Horde capped off the demolition of Dallas as Minnesota made true believers out of the entire country.
Great job. A Warriors effort, that's what it comes down to. We were willing to do whatever it took, and that's what it took. It took everything we have, and that's kind of the way it is.
In Week 14, Cris Carter was out with an injury, and Coach Green was counting on Randy Moss.
Now, when that ball's in the air, the number one thing you got to do is get it caught, no matter what. Get it caught and hold on to it. Make that damn official come right out of your hands after you score a touchdown. All right, Randy?
In a rout of Chicago, Moss would score 3 more times as the Vikings clinched the NFC Central. In Week 16, Viking alumni gathered to honor longtime trainer Fred Zamberletti, an employee of the club since its inception in 1961.
Time to go! Time to smack some eyes around!
Against playoff-bound Jacksonville, the defense rose up.
Picked off, Hitchcock, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10-5. Touchdown, Vikings! Jimmy Hitchcock, a 3rd time this year.
The offense ran off 50 points, their highest output of the season, and the most by any Viking team since 1974.
Flea flicker. Cunningham winds up with it from Smith. Throws it deep. Moss down there. Touchdown, Vikings!
Time for big dogs to hunt! It's time for dogs to hunt! We're out here in Tennessee hunting, baby!
In the final game of the season, the only thing left to hunt for were spots in the record book.
Fires it downfield. Carter the catch!
Cris Carter caught his 101st touchdown to move into 2nd place on the all-time list. And the Vikings broke the single-season point-scored record.
3 teams have been 15-1 in the history of the National Football League. All right? Give yourselves a round of applause.
Early on in the NFC divisional playoffs, the Viking defense noticed something about Cardinal quarterback Jake Plummer.
On the first down play, he didn't lick his fingers. On the next two passes, he licked his fingers, okay?
Jake the Snake never knew what hit him. Before the game, Cardinal cornerback Aeneas Williams declared war on the Viking receivers. He would soon learn that détente would have been a far wiser policy.
Oh, here we come! Oh, here we come!
The Vikings unleashed all of their offensive might against the Cardinals. Every weapon was utilized.
Scrambling, shakes up a tackle, cocks and throws.
Show what you got!
Caught 4-5, near the goal line.
Oh, they give a touchdown.
Touchdown, Vikings.
Go right in front of him, bang him, and come up under him. You got to.
For Randy Moss, it was the culmination of a season of learning.
See, that's how we have to work for one another. You see me suck the coverage up?
When the dust cleared, one thing was certain.
We got too much firepower. Hey, when Aeneas said he declared war on us, he got the wrong guys. Hey. Please. Y'all haven't stopped us yet. Simply the best. Simply the best.
1998 was an incredible journey for the Minnesota Vikings, one they will not soon forget. The team restored purple pride to its rightful place among the NFL's best, and now wait for a chance at a championship run in '99.